All right, it's 4:30 in the morning. I'm watching the Cowboys Jets game back, see what's going on with that, and also checking in on my charts. The key here is, as you can see, I have all these previous levels. This is previous lows, or previous. Actually, these were previous highs, and then how we transitioned up here. And as you can see, we always come back down and meet these zones at some point in time. But right now, we're sitting back up here at about 443 to 444. So we're gonna take a look at where the market might go today. You honestly can't really tell this early in the morning. You also need to see if there's going to be any news coming out, but you just want to get an idea of where you're at currently. So I put up the 180-day 4-hour chart, and as you can see, I have all of these zones here that have been set previously. And what I do is I usually extend them out about 2 months to give me plenty of time to see if we revisit some zones, and more often than not, we do. You are sitting perfectly in this zone right now. So we have this smaller zone, which is supply and demand zone from a previous spot that I actually just left in place that we come back down to and touch every now and again. But we have a very strong zone here that ends at the 443.36. We're gonna zoom in a little bit. Click. And starting early in the morning, we're kind of consolidating towards the bottom of the zone. So I'm gonna go to the 15 minutes so you can see that a little bit better. Yeah, we're consolidating towards my demand zone here. So the question is, the 200 EMA being way up here, up at the 446, is actually one of the larger zones that I have. The question is, you looking at these wicks here, are we going to continue to push down today, or are we going to push up? We won't really know until around 9 o'clock, you know, the 8:30, when we get ready to see the market moving, the pre-market moving again or whatever. But for the time being, we're kind of pushing down. We were down at a low of 443, then we had a gap up here to the 444. But the wicks say that we're pushing down, and we're kind of just right there, dead even with that. And then we had a new higher low, a lower high. But we're gonna switch to a different stock so you can see one that I don't have a bunch of lines and stuff on. Head over to QQQ, my second baby. Smaller version of the NASDAQ. And you can see we're trading lower than my previous day's demand zone. So now this is going to take over as a supply zone because it's been invalidated, and I'll find a new demand zone. We'll go to the 180-day 4-hour here to see what we're looking at. So a good spot to chart, since we're sitting down here, is I would look at this wick first, and then I would see if there's anything across the wick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on drawing. Actually, you can just, instead of clicking on the word drawing, zoom out a little bit. Right click on that spot there, go to add drawing, and you're gonna add a price line. And I'm just gonna add a price line right at the bottom of that while I'm looking at the 180 day. So as you can see at the 180 day, we had a pop up here and then it bounced down. So this is some sort of zone at 369. Then you had another pop right here at about 369.43. So you see that is a little bit of a support. So I'm gonna go ahead and set on this wick here a demand zone, and then this falls right inside of that demand zone. So you're gonna right click right here, add your drawing, click on the rectangle is gonna be your demand zone. Click right there at the top of your price line, edit the properties, and then on this top one here, you just go over a couple of months or a month or so, and just click the first of November, boom. So from there to the 1st of November, I also want this going backwards so I can see where it crosses through right here. So I'm going to edit that property again, and I'm going to put this to about June. Going to the left, I'll go June 1st. I want to see that come through here because I want to see that, yes, these did bounce here. Yes, it shot all the way up. This doesn't matter to me as much because you see it shot all the way up. It stopped and it came all the way back down to this area as well, and then shot all the way back down here to this main zone that I have at 361. But it'll be quite a fall before we hit 361. Now, if you want to validate that, you're going to go over to the 1 hour, 20-day 1 hour. And as you can see on the 20-day 1 hour, it looks the same. But the reason I like the 20-day 1 hour is you can really see what your week looks like. We had a really high right here, and then we dropped down to a little bit lower, and then we dropped down much lower, but then we kind of came back and met this area right here. So this is a perfect place to place your price line. So you click there, click add drawing, the dollar sign in the line, place a price line right there. And as you can see, I have a very valid supply zone. If you want to write the word supply zone in there, you can click on T for text, type in the word supply, SP, And then if you get confused with the supply zone is, that's just where the sellers are. Click OK. So my supply zone and my sellers are up here. My previous demand zone's down there, but since we're down here, we're gonna zoom in a bit. All right, and this is my demand zone. So we're kind of bouncing in between the zone of 371 and 369. So you're gonna put your demand zone down here. Add drawing, add text. Type in demand / buyers. And we're gonna watch for it to fall below that, but that's where the demand zone and the buyers are. And then this up here is going to be, you're gonna add another drawing, click T, and this is gonna be your supply zone / sellers. And now you're seeing the greater picture. Even though we fell below the previous demand zone, that now becomes the supply zone, and we're trading right between there. So that's about $1.50 $1 window total, $1.50 window when you look at it. So you come down here, zoom out a bit so I can get a better view of the bottom. So you got 369.16, the top of this zone being 371.32. So if we consolidate, we're sitting in that zone. Not the greatest zone to trade in. So I really wouldn't be looking at the trade. I'd be looking at scout from maybe the bottom of this zone or the top of this zone. But in the morning, we're gonna see if we're gonna bounce out of here, because you see we're sitting at the 9 EMA, so it looks like we're gonna push down. Based off of that, we could push down out of this zone here. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So this is 9:15. We're consolidating. You got plenty of wicks on the top here, which would suggest that maybe we're gonna push down. But you can see we're on top of the 9 EMA right now, which could also say that we're gonna push up. So that's why you really have to wait until that 8:30, 9 o'clock area to see what's been going on in the overnight. But overnight, we're just kind of consolidating between the two zones. I'll come back in the morning and make another video to show you what it looks like once we get to the 8 o'clock in the morning, what I'm looking for when I'm getting into my scout for the day. Appreciate you checking out the video. There'll be plenty more to come in the future. I'm actually going to do a few live trades whenever I get a chance. I probably won't be able to get like live trades recorded until like maybe the golden hour around 1, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But if I can get some 9 a.m. trades, 9:30 trades, that'd be dope. Every now and again, I'll be able to get one because my day ends early or something like that. But that's it for now. I will say like this. So, what was this, Friday? Friday, we had the massive fall. We fell basically all day long. From 377 all the way down to 371. And then we broke all the way down here at 370 flat. So we had a $7 decrease on Friday. Now the question is this floor that I've drawn here, is this going to be the floor, or are we going to hit this and bounce up and start to hop up? So if you look at the RSI, we're undersold. We're way down here at 30%. You know, it can run all the way up to 70. We fell from 70 to 30. So a lot of times when you are oversold is when it's going to push down. And you saw that massive push down. But now we're undersold. We're going to see what's going to happen here. Are we going to push back up towards 70 again? So if we do get the bounce, you're looking at 370 flat, 369 and some change to kind of hop up. So keep an eye on that for your morning. And again, I'm out. I did have to hop back in. I did want to show you that if we do see another massive drop off, where it could be going to. So I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know why I keep doing that. Just right click on drawing tools, add your drawing, add your price line there. So that's a $20 fall. You know, the next zone, there's kind of a zone right here. So I'll also add one right here, add drawing. That looks a little bit more feasible to come to this region. It really starts right here, but we'll say that it ran down to this point where it bounces. So just draw a little line there. But usually what happens is it retraces to a previous demand zone and then bounces out of that demand zone. If we have, for whatever reason, some terrible news today and it decides to plummet, sure, 347 is the low, but you're looking at about 352 as the current low. 355 is already at the bottom of this right here, so I don't need to change anything really. We're at 370. That's a $20 fall. I don't see a $20 fall. I see us staying in this region right here, maybe tracing down to 364. So I will place another little support zone line right here, because if you look at 364, it cuts through all of this. There's bounces there, there's bounces there, there's bounces there. And that's a nice little spot just to have, you know, an eye on if we do break below this 369.14. Now, me personally, I don't guess. I don't guess where the market's going. I give it a little bit of time to develop. The market will tell you what it wants to do. Let me go ahead and zoom in real quick. Click, 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 click. All right, so I don't guess. What I would do in this situation is I see these lines forming here, and I see it bouncing off of my demand zone or where the buyers are. And I'm looking at the fact that we had that massive $7 fall on just the other day, which is, if you look, what is this, the 4 hour? It's not that difficult to see that it just matches right here. It matches perfectly. You come up into this zone, fall down. We made it back up into that zone. We fell all the way back down. Now from this zone, if history repeats itself again, we're going to bounce off of this zone and we're going to rock it back up. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for history to repeat itself, to come back up to this 377. I don't know when, I don't know how fast, but let's go to the 20 day and let's see if we can see it happening there. So on the 20 day, when I zoom in, you see history repeating itself. History came down. This is, it's Monday. I can't see what the date is on that, but it was Monday. Came all the way down, bounced right off here off the bottom of my demand zone, and then shot all the way up to right here. Choppy, choppy, choppy for a day. Shot up some more. But within like a few days, we made it back up there. So I see us bouncing out of this zone again and following the history and the trend. We definitely, well, I won't say definitely because you don't know. Trade the market you're in. We don't know if it's going to fire all the way up on Monday, or if it's going to take until Tuesday or Friday, whatever the case is. But we do know that we have a great demand zone down here, and if we break through the supply zone, we could see a run up. If you look at the 9 EMA, you can tell the 9 EMA is looking to break through the supply zone. It's already bounced off of that. So should we rock it up in the morning? This isn't a horrible spot to buy from if we sit in here or whatever. We're sitting in a supply zone. Normally don't buy calls in there, but the 9 EMA is right below the supply zone, so you don't know if it's going to run back down towards the demand or if it is where it is, because it already bounced off the demand zone here. So you just wait, you watch. That's why you're not going to trade the first 30 minutes unless you're really risky. But you wait and you watch and you see if it breaks through this supply. If it breaks through this supply zone that I have here, we could be on a move up for a little bit and, you know, make a few dollars off of that. So if it does it here, it's probably going to do it on SPY as well, which is why I didn't really go over there. And SPX, you know, this is 100. It's a little bit easier for the new people to see QQQ than it is for them to see SPY, and this directly reflects the technology stocks, or the top 100 stocks from the technology sector, or the NASDAQ. So yeah, just check it out. Keep an eye on it, man, and best of luck this week. I'll let you guys know. We'll all see each other's profits and losses and talk about our trades and stuff later on. But I just wanted to share a neat little video of how you can get an idea of what the market could do by looking at the past. You're using the past to predict the future. That does not mean that it's going to do it exactly when you believe it's going to do it. That simply means be ready for whatever happens. Put yourself in the best possible position by looking back at the history of things.